Hi, and welcome to our second orientation video. In this video, we're going to help you navigate your way around how I have Blackboard set up so that you can easily do that. And there's kind of two very basic rules that are going to help you do everything you need to do. The first is this left-hand toolbar, this black bar here, is your link to everything. What you're looking at now, by the way, is my view because our class hasn't started yet. And almost everything is still hidden from you. So we're looking at my view, which looks a little bit different. But I just want to be able to show you things. And so the left-hand toolbar has your textbook, your syllabus, and your link to the course material. And your link to my grades is what you guys are going to see. And so you're going to navigate through there. You'll always land on the announcements page. You can go there, right? And I had mentioned in a previous video that everything I've ever sent out to you will always be here. So you could always go back and find it, or even for those of you who joined us later on, you can go back and see what emails I sent out earlier. And then on the main course materials page, so you're going to access your textbook and hopefully download that for yourself. You're going to access the syllabus and download that for yourself. And then you're going to mostly use the course materials page while we're together. And the course materials page is going to have a chapter. You see these little folders. You'll have folders for our orientation, which is today and tomorrow, and also for each of the chapters we cover. So we're going to look at this first chapter just so you can see how it's set up and get used to where you find things. I've already been in the orientation folder, so we won't look at that together. But if we look here, you'll see that for every folder, every chapter we have, it has a folder, it has the title of what we're looking for, and then it shows the same dates that you see on the syllabus. So the first day it opens, which is the 7th, first day of class, and then the day it closes, which is the following Sunday. And that will be the case for everything except, as you may have noticed on the syllabus, our very last chapter is a little shorter, so it doesn't close on a Sunday because our class ends on a Friday. So there's always all of this information listed, and this is always useful. Make sure you read through these so that it tells you what textbook chapters we're looking at. Our textbook chapters aren't necessarily in order, so make sure you pay attention to that. What textbook chapters you should be reading. It tells you that there's lecture videos, and there always will be, that I've created that talk about the things I'm going to emphasize. It tells you when your quiz is due, which is always going to be the Wednesday, but it'll always be there to remind you. It tells you when your first discussion posts on both the forums, the discussion prompt and the Muddiest Point forums, when they're due. It will always be on Friday, but again, just to remind you, and then replies to classmates due on Sunday. And then if there's an extra credit, an optional extra credit in that chapter, it will list that as well. So we can click on that so you can see what these chapters are going to look like, right? And this is available to you by the first day of class, so you'll be able to see this on your own as well. You'll have learning outcomes. These are easy to skip over. I know that they look like something that's not important, but they really do tell you. You'll notice that it tells you what you're going to have to do with the material, and that is a good indication of what I'm going to ask you to do with the material on the exam. So those are actually really useful guidelines to what I want you to be able to do. And then you'll always have a number of videos. I try to make these videos certainly no more than 15 minutes long. I try to keep them to under 15 minutes, 10 if I can. And so there'll be a number of these videos that they're kind of in bite-sized chunks. And they really do show you what I'm emphasizing. They won't cover everything in the chapter. They're telling you what I'm emphasizing and what I think is most important. There will also be the static lecture slides that I'm using as I do the lectures. So that if you want to download those, if you want to make notes on them, I think some students find that very useful. The quiz will be listed after that, so hopefully you've read the textbook, you've watched the lecture videos, and you're going to take the quiz by Wednesday, right? And the date is listed here. And then you have your two discussion forums that you link from here. I know you may have had other classes where you link the discussions directly from the toolbar. I want you in the chapter folders doing that because I think it is far harder to miss things if you're working your way through the chapter folder. So you have the prompt. In this case, it's asking you to pick one of these and create an experiment for it. And then you've got your Muddiest Point where you're going to post a question. These are graded, remember, so they're required. And then your optional extra credit that gives you another chance at setting up an experiment so that you can get direct feedback from me about that as well. All of the chapter folders will also have this practical questions link, which is a good place if you're saying, I don't quite, I can't find this on Blackboard, or, you're wondering about how something else might work. That's a great place to post those questions, and I'll answer them, but if a classmate gets to it first, that's even better, right? And so, everything you need is in here. The other thing you'll see, and we can go back to your view, right? As you work your way through this course, on the course material page, the chapter folders will appear as we arrive at the due date, at the opening date for that chapter. So on Monday, June 7th, the course orientation folder will appear and the chapter 1 folder will appear. And so they won't be available to you, but this is what you're seeing now. If this is before June 7th, you would see it shows you the article submission for the paper assignment is there, the study guide, your study guides for all of your exams, the Dropbox for your paper itself, right? And so do make note that you have study guides for all 4 exams that are already available on the course materials page. And I would suggest that as you're reading chapters 1, 2, and 3 for the first exam, over the next 2 weeks as you're reading that material, have the study guides. See what I'm telling you already I'm going to emphasize on the exam, so that you know what you need to focus on and maybe what you need to ask questions about if there's something on that study guide isn't clear to you. Okay? So hopefully that shows you where you're going to find things. Exit the preview here and come back to that course materials page. The future folders aren't set up for you yet. The dates haven't been updated, but you can see, you can kind of see what it's going to look like as things appear. Okay. All right. So one last video after this, talking about the paper assignment and how to do that, and we'll go there in just a moment.